你为什么想讨论这个话题？
Because I want to improve my memory, and I also want to live my life in a way where I create memories that are valuable. It's not necessarily about forgetting, I don't think. I think it's about living your life in a way where you create memories. You create good memories, intentionally. But I think if you can live your life in that way, then it's going to be a life that's more worth remembering. How can you create your life in a way that is going to make it so that you remember the things that you want to remember, rather than creating memories that, like by accident, that are not things that you value or want to remember.
过好每一天的生活，如果你那一天觉得是开心的，那你应该是想记住的，所以尽量把那天过好。
I guess. That's also easier to say than to actually do.
那有哪些记忆是你不想记的呢？
Moments of embarrassment, or like sometimes when I've done stupid things, like little regrets, like, oh, I wish I hadn't said that, or I wish I didn't do that.
啊，那你让我想起来了，有一些东西我确实不愿意记起来，就是我觉得我做的很不对。有一次我们说去吃饭，那个时候的规则是2个人一起去吃饭，那个人是要就是一个人付钱，要请客的之类的。然后他当时呢，他带了一个朋友过来，是我没有想到的。然后我也带了一个我的朋友过去，所以当时我就会有一种莫名的压力，是我给自己造的一个压力，就是我应该付4个人的钱，真的很尴尬，我不知道该怎么付，我也没有跟他们2个说清楚说明白啊，我只付我们的，你付你们的。当时这种话是说不出口的，根本都说不出口的，我只是付了我和我朋友的钱。
I think the only way to avoid those kind of moments is to grow as a person, because like if you were in that situation now, it would be no problem, right? But it's because you didn't know what to do, you didn't know how to handle it.
但是呢，我毕业之后的一个巧合吧，我们又遇见了。我那次请他吃饭，我就感觉是因为我感觉 guilty， 我感觉当时我不应该只付我们2个人的钱，然后不给他付钱，我感觉 guilty， 所以我就找了个机会，我们又去吃了一顿饭，然后那顿饭我付钱，然后我才感觉好一点。
I think that's a good point. Like, it's not just embarrassment, it's also guilt. Guilt is such a painful creator of strong memories. Like, if you feel guilty about something, you are going to remember it for such a long time.
除非你后来做一件事情去弥补它，要不然你会永远感觉到 guilty.
Yeah, and it like drags you, it drags with you. I think avoiding guilt is really important. Do you think that was a moment of like making you really want to change or anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing about that as well. It's like a moment of like revelation, like you realize something. Wow, like now I need to do something different.
对，因为我觉得那种尴尬的情况，我不希望它再发生，我觉得会让我很自卑。
What do you think you will remember when you're older? What will you remember the most?
我觉得应该是那些特别美好的记忆吧，就是很美好的事情，我不想忘记它。每回想一次，就会让我再次幸福一次。比如我们第一次相遇的时候。
I feel like the reason we would remember that is because it's important to who we are now.
对。
It's a defining moment.
如果有可能的话，我甚至想记住我们人生中开始、中间、结束，我都想把它很重要的这些东西记住。
Good or bad emotions, very easy to be remembered.
They are taking revenge.
There's something powerful about strong emotion that stays in our heads. What about the memories that we've created while we've been here? What do you think you'll remember from Herzog Novi?
就是走2步就到沙滩到海边，我觉得这个肯定是一个非常独特的回忆。
Yeah.
It might not look cold, but there's snow on the mountains melting into there.
还有，我觉得在这里让我爱上了喝咖啡。
I hope I remember the first time we jumped into the water, because that was my first time jumping into cold water like that. But I don't know if I will. I wanted to try and create a memory that we won't forget. Okay, so we've established that you remember things when there's some sort of extreme emotion, whether good or bad, and also when it's your first time doing it, but only if it's attached to something important or emotional. And if you do it again, you're quite likely to forget it, or at least for it to blend into everything else. Just like what happens if you repeat something and do it every day, then it becomes compressed and you don't remember the individual days.
就好像我们在阳朔经常吃米粉，感觉虽然我们去了很多次，每次去的地方也不一样，但感觉好像就只吃了一次米粉。
Yeah.
我一直都想去有一个方法，可以就是让我的记性保存下来。我其实一直都这样想，能不能把我的记忆保存下来？因为有很多就是当下我感觉很舒服、很幸福、很美好的一些时刻，我就希望它可以不在我的脑子里忘记。但是我确定我已经忘了很多很多东西了。
And what about like things you take photos of?
我觉得我拍照会让我对它记得更加清楚，因为本来可能那个瞬间或者那天做的事情我都忘记了，但是我看那个照片我就马上想起来了。所以我拍了很多你的照片。
Recently, like my mum sent me a bunch of old family photos, and I can't remember anything that we were doing at that time when we were having the family photo taken. Some of them I can't even remember where we were, because it's just us.
But I'm sure your mom will remember everyone. 因为对她来说，照片有那个作用，对你来说可能没有。我觉得是因为那个瞬间她想记住，所以她拍那个照片，她就会记住。当时她拍的时候你都不知道。
So it's the intention when you take the photo.
我觉得应该是。
Maybe.
你当时只是在 enjoy the moment， 你可能当时就是已经很沉浸了，你没有想着去 capture this。但是你妈她可能想的是，我不仅要现在要就是享受，我还要记住它，我还要去 create memories。我想记住很多有意思的对话，或者让我很感动的对话。比如说，我就很想记住我和你奶奶聊天的时候，她对我说的话。她竟然开始给我分享她怎么和爷爷认识的，然后他们两个第一次约会啊，第一次 kiss， 她竟然给我分享那个。你知道吗？我就感觉我非常想记住那个感觉，想记住那个对话。然后她还给我说了一句话，我现在都忘不了。她说：“看似是男人在选择我们，但其实不是，是我们在选择他们。” 这句话让我觉得，当时我觉得，哦，你说的真对。我就感觉他好像他跟我就是在一起的，你知道吗？我感觉我们两个那个时候就是在一起的。
Have you ever written it down somewhere?
我不记得了。
We talked about photos being able to capture memories. I think for me, writing things down is much more effective. I think for us as well, making these films is a way of capturing our memories, right?
我为什么喝这么多水啊？
If you want to live a memorable life, I think this conversation has taught me, don't do things that are routine. Do things that are going to challenge you or make you change, enter a new chapter in your life. And full of good emotions. Don't live your life in a way that's going to make you feel guilty or ashamed or embarrassed. Turn yourself into someone that doesn't have those qualities, that those qualities don't apply to you. Be someone who you're proud of instead, and make your actions things you're proud of. Instead of sitting every day scrolling through your phone, watching TV, doing house chores, go out and create new memories that you can look back on forever in your whole life and be inspired by and treasure.
我知道有很多人是有那个困扰的，就是自己在看电视的时候，或者是刷手机的时候、刷视频的时候，你刚进来的时候的原因可能是另外一个，但是现在你看下去的原因又是另外一个，因为你已经被吸引进去了。所以 maybe 下次如果当你意识到自己已经被就是吸引进去的时候，不妨然后就是想一想，我以后的记忆里面是想一直在玩手机嘛，就是被手机玩嘛，然后可能有这样的一个声音提醒着自己，然后可能就会停下来，然后去有选择性的、有目的的去看，而不是被牵着鼻子走。
Yeah, live your own life. Don't watch other people's.
我刚才已经对着 score 做下了我的决定，今天晚上我就回去把我想记住的东西写在笔记本上、电脑上。所以你的计划是什么呢？你也开始吧。
Don't live your life in a way you're going to forget.